Hinben Sports 84. It's over. Anthony Joshua has put up the victory. He stopped Wladimir Klitschko in the 11th round and pushed to an end a long time of dominance by Wladimir Klitschko. This is his first stoppage in a while. He lost against Tyson Fury in his last fight, but still, that fight was such a boring fight. It wasn't a very convincing victory, but this was the victory that really puts a stamp on Wladimir Klitschko boxing career, because this is the fight that he was stopped. He hadn't been stopped in a while, even though he was stopped earlier in his career. This is a fight that really put some sort of setback in Wladimir Klitschko's career. Joshua did what was expected of him. That was actually my prediction. I predicted a stoppage, so he has really come through with my prediction. But I have a lot of takeaways from this fight. This fight really revealed a lot about Anthony Joshua and Wladimir Klitschko. It revealed an enormous lot. I actually didn't watch the beginning of this fight from rounds 1 to when I got to the fight. I really didn't think the fight would start this early, because usually when fights are held in the UK, the main event usually starts at 10 p.m. So I was actually waiting, but somehow I had a feeling I should just pop in and take a look at around 9:30, and lo and behold, they were in the 5th round. I actually got into the fight when Joshua had knocked down Klitschko in the 5th round. That was when I thought I was going to get him out of there, but he looked gassed out and he couldn't master any sort of offense to get a job done. And as a matter of fact, he was even nearly knocked out by Klitschko in the 5th round, in the end of the 5th round. So my takeaways from this fight: for periods in this fight, in the latter stages, Klitschko actually looked like the younger fighter in this fight. It was weird. He looked on the ascendancy. He looked fitter. He looked like the one taking all the initiatives. Anthony Joshua looked gassed out. He looked like he was out of sorts. He looked like a fighter who was ready to be knocked out. I was really fearing for Anthony Joshua, because the way his mannerism in the ring was it was really weird. You would think he's the younger fighter, so you had more stamina, but it was the other way around. The 40-year-old rather had more stamina than the younger fighter, and he looked like the one who was going to knock the younger fighter out. That was what I was seeing in the fight. Anthony Joshua seems to have stamina issues, because he looked very exhausted in that fight. It looks like all the weight that he's carrying is taking its toll on him. This is a really dangerous trait to have as a heavyweight, because if you get into the ring with a fitter fighter who is also as strong as you are going to get knocked out. There's no two ways about that. You are going to get knocked out if you put up this performance against a fitter heavyweight. As a matter of fact, I used to think Anthony Joshua would beat Deontay Wilder, because I was leaning towards him if we were ever to face each other. But I don't think I'm so sure about it now, because Deontay Wilder is a lot fitter in his fights that I've seen. He doesn't gas out like the way Joshua is gassing out in this fight, because Joshua was actually there for the taking. Klitschko looks like you could understand, because he's old. A younger Klitschko, you could make a case, would knock Anthony Joshua out in this fight, because from round 6 to 10, Anthony Joshua was there for the taking. And if Klitschko was just a little bit active and was pressing the issue more, he would have knocked Anthony Joshua out. That was what it was looking like. So Anthony Joshua he really has his work cut out. He needs to make massive improvements if he is to progress in this heavyweight division. Because this victory is a good victory. It's a very, very good victory. But he shouldn't be too elated about it because Klitschko is not who he was. Klitschko in his prime would have knocked Anthony Joshua out in this fight. I can say that for a fact. If Klitschko was to be in his prime and he faced Anthony Joshua this night, he would have knocked Anthony Joshua out. No two ways about that. Anthony Joshua needs to do a lot of work. My main problem with Anthony Joshua in this fight is stamina. It looks like the weight is taking a huge toll on Anthony Joshua. A huge, massive toll. He looks so exhausted. I was really worried on how he was going to win this fight because he looked like he couldn't even muster up any offense from the 6th round onwards. It didn't look like he could muster up any sort of offense, none whatsoever. It was really a worrying sight. So he needs to do a lot of homework. Klitschko has really put up a very spectacular performance. I was really impressed. I didn't envisage that Klitschko will put up such a performance. At age of 40 and above, he looked fitter than Anthony Joshua in this fight. He was jumping around the ring, making all sorts of moves. He looked so much fitter than Anthony Joshua. Anthony Joshua looked rigid. He looked rigid. He looked rigid to me. Very rigid. He needs to do a lot of work. He needs to do a lot of work on his style, on his skill, and stamina. I don't know if he can lose some weight or because the weight's definitely going to have a toll on you when you get into your later rounds. A very intelligent and clever boxer will bide his time and take you into deep waters and knock you out. Because from the 6th round to the 10th round, Anthony Joshua was there to be knocked out. Klitschko was just he didn't have it in him to just take him out of there. He could have easily knocked him out. Easily. So Anthony Joshua needs to do a lot of homework if he's to establish some sort of lengthy reign in the heavyweight division. Because with this kind of performance, I give Deontay Wilder a huge opportunity to beat Anthony Joshua. Huge one. Something I didn't think before. Something I didn't envisage before. Now I think Wilder has a very good opportunity to beat Anthony Joshua. A very good chance to beat him. Because Wilder is a lot fitter. He's fitter. He doesn't have that much body weight to be carrying around. And he can carry his weight better than Anthony Joshua. If Joshua doesn't get a knockout, that means he's there to be knocked out. Because even throwing a punch takes a lot out of him. You could tell from the fight. When he throws a punch and he misses, you could see that it takes a lot out of him. So if Klitschko would have capitalized on that, it wouldn't have been a good outcome for Anthony Joshua. So Joshua really needs to lose weight, man. You can't be carrying this body mass as a boxer. It's just too much. Just too much. If you don't get a knockout, that means you're going to be exhausted. Too much weight. So Joshua needs to do something about his body weight and his style of fighting too. Because he was exhausted. In the 5th round, he had the opportunity to take Klitschko out and he couldn't because he was so exhausted. He couldn't even master any sort of offense and let him off the hook. He nearly lost this fight. If this fight had gone to the 12th round, he would have lost the fight. He nearly lost the fight. So this should be as some sort of a wake-up call to him to make the necessary adjustments in order to prolong his reign in this heavyweight division. But based on this performance, I don't think he's going to have the upper hand against Wilder. I'm actually going to give Wilder the upper hand if they were ever to match up. So congrats to Anthony Joshua for pulling out the victory. And congrats to Klitschko as well for one hell of a performance. A boxer at this age, putting up this sort of performance against a young lion like Anthony Joshua, he needs to be commended. He's gone out like a real champion. So kudos and much respect to Klitschko. That is all for now. If you like the commentary, subscribe, give it a thumbs up. I make commentaries like this every other day. Thank you for your time. Catch you on the next one. Bye for now.